Welcome, high-value men. Everybody loves a nice guy, right? You've probably heard people say, nice guys always win. But let me ask you this, have you really seen it happen? No, because the truth is, nice guys often finish last. In this video, we're diving into why being a nice guy can sometimes work against you. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should be rude, cold, or dismissive. Being compassionate, thoughtful, and kind is a strength, not a weakness. But when these traits become a crutch, you risk losing respect, opportunities, and yes, even the admiration of women. Let's clarify who the so-called nice guy really is. On the surface, he's agreeable, gentle, and always willing to lend a hand. These sound like great qualities, and they are, until they start costing him his self-worth. Too often, being too nice comes with hidden consequences, being overlooked, undervalued, or even taken advantage of. Here's the harsh reality. Nice guys don't always get the happy ending they believe they deserve. They expect that their kindness and selflessness will naturally attract love, respect, and fulfillment. But life doesn't work that way. People, including women, respect confidence, boundaries, and self-assurance, traits that many nice guys unintentionally neglect. If you've ever found yourself stuck in the friend zone, or feel like women only see you as just a good guy, but never the right guy, then this video is for you. Today we're exposing the habits that hold nice guys back, and more importantly, showing you how to break free from them. Before we dive into the habits you need to stop, let's first look at what makes someone a nice guy. On the surface, being a nice guy seems like a good thing. He's compassionate, thoughtful, and always willing to help. But beneath that exterior, there are patterns of behavior that often lead to frustration, disappointment, and even resentment. Let's break it down. A typical nice guy is someone who genuinely believes that being kind, agreeable, and selfless will lead to fulfilling relationships and respect from others. He often goes out of his way to be helpful, sometimes even for people he barely knows. For example, he might run errands for a coworker or offer to fix something for a neighbor without expecting anything in return. While these actions might come from a good place, they can also make him appear overly eager to please. Nice guys often avoid confrontation at all costs. Imagine this, you're in a meeting at work, and a heated debate breaks out. While others are passionately defending their opinions, the nice guy chooses to stay silent, thinking, I don't want to cause any trouble. The result, his voice goes unheard, and his ideas are easily overlooked. Avoiding conflict might seem like a way to maintain peace, but in reality, it often leads to a lack of respect from others. Another defining trait of nice guys is their need for approval. They crave validation and will often prioritize others' opinions over their own. This dependency can manifest in relationships where they rely heavily on their partner for emotional support and self-worth. Instead of being seen as a confident and independent individual, they come across as needy and insecure. Nice guys also struggle with setting boundaries. They allow others to overstep their limits, whether it's a friend who constantly borrows money or a partner who takes their kindness for granted. By saying yes to everything, they fail to protect their time, energy, and self-respect. Sound familiar? If any of these behaviors resonate with you, it's time to recognize the patterns that might be holding you back. Remember, being kind and considerate isn't the problem. It's when those qualities come at the expense of your own self-worth. Now that we've uncovered what makes someone a nice guy, let's dive into the habits you need to stop to become the confident, respected man you're meant to be. Habit 1. Being a people pleaser. One of the biggest traps nice guys fall into is the habit of being a people pleaser. It starts innocently. You want everyone to like you, you want to avoid conflict, and you think that by making others happy, you'll secure their approval and admiration. But let me tell you something. This mindset is holding you back in ways you don't even realize. As a high-value man, your time, energy, and decisions should revolve around your own goals and principles, not the fleeting approval of others. When you make it your mission to please everyone, you forget one critical truth. You cannot make everyone happy. Trying to do so will only leave you drained, frustrated, and unfulfilled. Worse, it makes you lose sight of what truly matters to you. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself agreeing to things you didn't want to do just because you were afraid of disappointing someone? Maybe you stayed late at work because a colleague asked for help, even though it wasn't your responsibility. Or perhaps you always say yes to plans you have no interest in, just to avoid seeming rude. These small acts of self-sacrifice add up, and soon people begin to see you as a pushover. In relationships, this is even more damaging. Women respect high-value men who have a clear sense of self, men who can stand their ground and say no when necessary. If you're always bending over backward to accommodate her every whim, she won't see you as strong or dependable. She'll see you as someone who can be easily manipulated. Here's the reality. People pleasers often sacrifice their own happiness for the sake of others. And instead of being rewarded for it, they're taken for granted. Why? Because when you place everyone else's needs above your own, you signal that you don't value yourself enough to set boundaries. The solution? Stop living for other people's approval. Start by identifying situations where you feel pressured to say yes, and practice saying no firmly but respectfully. For example, if a coworker dumps extra work on your plate, politely decline by saying, "I'd love to help, but I'm already tied up with my own responsibilities." Or if someone invites you to an event you don't care about, simply say, "Thanks for the invite, but I won't be able to make it." And here's the best part. When you stop trying to please everyone, you'll notice a shift. The people who truly value you will respect your boundaries, and those who don't, they were never worth your time anyway. Remember, being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. As a high-value man, respect yourself first, and the world will follow suit. Habit 2. Always agreeing with everyone. As a high-value man, having your own opinions and standing by them is essential. Yet, one of the most common habits that hold nice guys back is their tendency to agree with everyone. They avoid disagreement, thinking it will make them more likable. But the harsh truth? Always nodding along doesn't make you respected. It makes you invisible. When you constantly agree with others, even when you don't truly feel the same way, you undermine your individuality. You become someone who blends into the background, someone who doesn't challenge the norm or stand for anything unique. This habit not only impacts how others view you, but also chips away at your self-confidence. Imagine this. You're in a group conversation, and someone brings up a topic you strongly disagree with. Instead of speaking up, you stay silent, or worse, pretend to agree. You think you're keeping the peace, but in reality, you're signaling to others that your opinions don't matter, or worse, that you don't have any. Now let's consider how this behavior affects relationships. Women are naturally drawn to men who are confident in their beliefs and can express them with respect. If you're always going along with whatever she says, she may start to feel like you lack depth or conviction. A high-value man knows how to articulate his perspective, even if it's not what others want to hear. The key here isn't to become argumentative or contrarian for the sake of it. Disagreement doesn't have to mean conflict. It's about having the courage to express your views while respecting others. For example, if you don't agree with a friend's plan, say, "I see where you're coming from, but I think there's a better way to approach this." This shows that you're thoughtful, not combative, and willing to stand by your ideas. Being wishy-washy, agreeing today and disagreeing tomorrow, only confuses people and weakens your position. As a high-value man, your opinions carry weight. Stand firm when it matters, and people will respect you more for it. Remember this. You're not here to blend in, you're here to stand out. Having your own voice isn't just about gaining respect, it's about being true to who you are. Stop agreeing with everyone just to keep the peace, and start embracing the power of your individuality. Habit 3. Not knowing how to say no. One of the defining traits of a high-value man is the ability to set boundaries, and at the core of this skill lies one simple word: no. Yet for many nice guys, saying no feels impossible. They fear rejection, conflict, or being perceived as unkind. But let's get one thing straight. Saying yes to everyone is the fastest way to lose yourself. Nice guys often feel that agreeing to every request will make them indispensable, appreciated, or even loved. But the reality is the opposite. Constantly saying yes, even when it's inconvenient or against your own interests, only leads to burnout and resentment. Worse, it signals to others that your time, energy, and resources are not valuable. Consider this scenario. You're out on a date and she orders the most expensive items on the menu. You know you don't have the budget to cover everything, but instead of speaking up, you foot the bill anyway. The result? You're left stressed, frustrated, and undervalued. And let's be real, if she's taking advantage of you like that, she's not the one. A high-value man knows when to draw the line. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, it makes you decisive. It's about prioritizing your well-being and making choices that align with your values. When you say no, you're not just protecting yourself, you're teaching others to respect you. Here's how you can practice this. If someone asks for a favor you can't realistically manage, respond with, "I'd love to help, but I'm currently swamped with other commitments." If a friend keeps pushing you to go out when you need rest, say, "Not tonight, I need to recharge." And when faced with manipulative behavior, like someone guilt-tripping you into something, firmly state, "I'm not comfortable with that." It's not about being harsh or dismissive. It's about being honest and assertive. Saying no is a form of self-respect, and as a high-value man, self-respect should always come first. Remember, the people who truly value you will understand your boundaries. The ones who don't, they're not worth your energy. By learning to say no, you're not just standing up for yourself, you're stepping into your power. So next time you're tempted to agree out of guilt or fear, pause and ask yourself, is this truly what I want? If the answer is no, then say it, loud and clear. Habit 4. Not setting boundaries. As a high-value man, one of the most critical skills you need to master is setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't just about protecting your time and energy, they're about defining how others can treat you. Yet nice guys often struggle with this. They let people walk all over them thinking that being overly accommodating will earn them respect. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. When you don't set boundaries, you send a message to the world that you're okay with being taken for granted. This happens in all areas of life, at work, in friendships, and especially in relationships. You may think you're being considerate, but what you're actually doing is erasing your own worth. Let's take an example. Imagine you're at work and a coworker takes credit for your idea during a meeting. Instead of speaking up, you stay silent to avoid confrontation. Or maybe you're in a relationship and your partner frequently cancels plans at the last minute without even apologizing. You let it slide because you don't want to upset her. In both cases, you're reinforcing the idea that it's okay to disrespect you. As a high-value man, this is unacceptable. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow, and tolerating bad behavior only encourages more of it. Setting boundaries isn't about being aggressive. It's about standing up for yourself with clarity and confidence. Here's how you can establish boundaries. Be direct. If someone crosses the line, address it immediately. For instance, if a coworker steals your idea, say, "I appreciate you bringing that up, but I want to clarify that it was my concept." Be consistent. Boundaries lose their power if you enforce them inconsistently. If you say you won't tolerate lateness in a relationship, stick to it. Value your time. Don't let others monopolize your schedule. If someone tries to overstep, let them know your time is limited and needs to be respected. In relationships, this is especially important. If a woman ghosts you after agreeing to a date, don't let it slide. Send her a message letting her know her behavior was disrespectful. Will she like it? Maybe not, but she'll respect you for speaking up. Remember this, boundaries are not walls. They're guidelines that help you protect your peace and assert your value. By setting boundaries, you're not being mean. You're showing that you respect yourself enough to demand the same from others. Nice guys who fail to set boundaries often end up as doormats. But a high-value man? He commands respect without having to demand it. So the next time someone crosses the line, don't brush it off. Step up, speak out, and remind them that your value is non-negotiable. Habit 5. Trying to impress by bragging. One of the quickest ways to lose respect as a high-value man is by trying too hard to impress others, especially through bragging. Nice guys often fall into this trap because they think highlighting their achievements, wealth, or connections will make them more attractive. But here's the reality. Bragging doesn't make you look impressive. It makes you look insecure. When you boast about what you have or what you've done, it often comes across as overcompensating for lack of confidence. People can sense when someone is trying too hard, and instead of admiration, it breeds irritation or even pity. Women, in particular, are highly attuned to this. Bragging doesn't say, "I'm successful." It says, "I need validation." Imagine you're on a date, and instead of having a meaningful conversation, you spend the entire time talking about your car, your job title, or how much money you made last year. While you might think this makes you look like a catch, she's likely thinking, "Why does he need to prove himself so much?" A high-value man doesn't need to brag. His achievements speak for themselves. He doesn't feel the need to shout about his success because he knows his worth isn't tied to material things or external validation. Instead, he focuses on demonstrating his value through his actions, confidence, and character. Here's how you can break the habit of bragging. Let others discover your worth naturally. Instead of talking about your successes, let your behavior reflect them. If you're a great leader, people will notice by the way you carry yourself. Focus on the other person. Engage in meaningful conversations where you show genuine interest in the other person's thoughts and experiences. This not only builds a deeper connection, but also shows emotional intelligence. Embrace humility. Confidence and humility go hand in hand. You can be proud of your accomplishments without making them the centerpiece of every conversation. Remember, the most powerful men in the room are often the quietest. They don't need to dominate the conversation with stories of their success, because their presence alone is enough to command respect. In relationships, this is even more critical. Women are drawn to men who are secure in themselves, men who don't need external approval to feel valuable. By breaking the habit of bragging, you not only build respect, but also create room for genuine connections based on mutual understanding and trust. As a high-value man, your goal isn't to impress others. It's to live authentically and let your actions do the talking. So, the next time you feel the urge to brag, pause and ask yourself, am I trying to prove something, or am I confident enough to let my actions speak for me? Habit 6. Seeking sympathy to gain attention. A high-value man never plays the victim card to gain sympathy or attention. Yet, many nice guys fall into this habit, believing that showcasing their struggles and vulnerabilities will make others care for them more deeply. While vulnerability can be a strength when shared appropriately, constantly seeking sympathy only portrays you as someone who lacks emotional resilience. Here's the problem. When you make your hardships the focus of your interactions, you risk coming across as emotionally dependent or, worse, manipulative. People may initially sympathize, but over time, they'll grow tired of it. Sympathy can only take you so far. Respect and admiration, on the other hand, come from demonstrating strength and independence. Consider this scenario. You're constantly telling your partner or friends how hard your life is, hoping they'll offer support or validation. At first, they may feel compelled to help, but soon they'll start to see you as someone who's always looking for a crutch. Women, in particular, don't admire men who wallow in self-pity. They admire men who face their challenges head-on. As a high-value man, you must understand that life will throw difficulties your way, but it's how you handle those challenges that defines you. Seeking sympathy not only diminishes your image, but also weakens your ability to grow from adversity. Here's how to break this habit. Share your struggles wisely. Vulnerability is powerful when shared in the right context. Instead of dwelling on your problems, focus on the solutions you're working toward. For example, instead of saying, "I'm so broke right now," say, "I've been budgeting carefully and working on ways to improve my finances." Build emotional resilience. Work on managing your emotions independently rather than relying on others for comfort. Practices like journaling, meditation, or Stoic reflection can help you develop a stronger mindset. Inspire rather than seek pity. If you choose to share your struggles, frame them as lessons or experiences that have made you stronger. This transforms your story into something uplifting rather than draining. Women are drawn to men who can weather life's storms without losing their sense of direction. It's not about pretending to be invincible. It's about showing that you can handle setbacks with grace and determination. Remember this: sympathy is fleeting, but respect lasts a lifetime. By moving away from seeking sympathy, you position yourself as a man of strength, someone others can admire and rely on. And as a high-value man, that's the legacy you want to leave behind. Habit 7. Neglecting self-care. A high-value man understands that self-care is non-negotiable. However, nice guys often neglect this critical aspect of their lives. They focus so much on pleasing others or meeting external expectations that they forget to take care of themselves, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Let's be honest, how you treat yourself sets the tone for how others will treat you. If you're constantly neglecting your health, grooming, or personal development, it sends a message that you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, why should anyone else? Think about this. Have you ever let your fitness slide because you were too busy helping others? Or maybe you've avoided updating your wardrobe, thinking it doesn't matter because what's inside counts. While personality and character are crucial, first impressions matter. And neglecting your appearance can make you seem unapproachable or even unmotivated. Self-care isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good and showing up as the best version of yourself. A high-value man invests in his health, appearance, and mindset because he knows these are foundational to success in all areas of life. Here's how you can prioritize self-care. Invest in your physical health. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate sleep are non-negotiable. A strong, fit body not only boosts your confidence, but also reflects discipline and self-respect. Upgrade your grooming and wardrobe. You don't need to wear designer clothes, but ensure your attire is clean, well-fitted, and appropriate for the occasion. Grooming, whether it's maintaining a beard or a clean shave, shows attention to detail. Focus on mental well-being. Develop habits that nourish your mind, such as reading, meditation, or practicing Stoic philosophy. Mental strength is just as important as physical fitness in defining a high-value man. Neglecting self-care also impacts your relationships. Women are naturally drawn to men who take care of themselves because it signals that you're capable of taking care of others too. If you can't prioritize your own well-being, how can she trust you to be a strong, dependable partner? Remember this, self-care is not selfish, it's essential. By prioritizing your health, appearance, and mindset, you're not just improving how you feel, you're elevating how others perceive you. As a high-value man, never underestimate the power of self-care. It's a daily commitment to becoming the best version of yourself, and it's one of the most attractive qualities you can embody. So, start today, because you're worth it. Habit 8. Waiting for recognition instead of taking initiative. A high-value man doesn't sit around waiting for people to notice his worth. Yet nice guys often fall into the trap of hoping that their actions will eventually earn them recognition. They work hard, stay quiet, and assume that one day someone will reward them for their efforts. But here's the harsh truth. The world doesn't work like that. If you're constantly waiting for others to validate your worth, you're handing over control of your life. Whether it's in your career, friendships, or romantic relationships, passivity is a sign of insecurity. Instead of being seen as capable and proactive, you come across as someone who lacks ambition and drive. Imagine this. At work, you put in extra hours, help your team meet tight deadlines, and come up with innovative solutions, but you never speak up about your contributions. While others are getting promotions and recognition, you're left in the shadows. Why? Because you assumed your hard work would speak for itself, but you failed to take initiative and advocate for your value. This habit extends into relationships as well. Nice guys often wait for women to notice their kindness and hope that this will naturally lead to romance or admiration. Instead of actively pursuing what they want, they play the long game, only to find themselves stuck in the friend zone. As a high-value man, you need to understand this. Taking initiative is not arrogance, it's confidence. It's about showing the world that you know your worth and aren't afraid to claim it. Here's how you can break the habit of waiting for recognition. Advocate for yourself. Don't assume people will notice your hard work. If you've achieved something significant, share it with the right people. For example, in a meeting, confidently say, "I'm proud of the solution I proposed, and I'm glad it worked out for the team." Take charge in relationships. If you're interested in someone, make your intentions clear instead of hoping she'll figure it out. Confidence and directness are much more attractive than silent admiration. Set goals and pursue them actively. Stop waiting for opportunities to come your way. Seek them out. Whether it's applying for a promotion, starting a new project, or asking someone out, taking the first step shows initiative and leadership. Women are naturally drawn to men who take charge of their lives. Passivity is not an attractive trait. It signals uncertainty and a lack of direction. On the other hand, a man who knows what he wants and goes after it is impossible to ignore. Remember this: recognition isn't given, it's earned. And it's not earned through silence or waiting, it's earned through action and confidence. As a high-value man, never hesitate to show the world your worth. Take initiative, make your voice heard, and let your actions speak louder than words. Habit 9. Failing to leverage your strengths. One of the biggest mistakes nice guys make is failing to recognize and capitalize on their own strengths. They often downplay their abilities, thinking modesty is the key to likability. While humility is a valuable trait, ignoring your unique skills and qualities not only limits your potential, but also undermines the respect you command. A high-value man knows his strengths and isn't afraid to leverage them. Here's the issue. Nice guys are so focused on being agreeable that they often suppress their individuality. Whether it's a talent, a skill, or a unique perspective, they don't showcase what makes them stand out. This habit can make you seem unremarkable or worse, unconfident. And in today's world, blending in doesn't lead to success. Standing out does. Think about this. You're in a social setting, and you have the opportunity to share a story, a skill, or a unique insight that could captivate the room. Instead of stepping up, you stay quiet, thinking it's better to let others take the spotlight. Or maybe at work, you hold back from presenting a bold idea because you fear it might be rejected. These missed opportunities don't just cost you recognition, they cost you respect. As a high-value man, embracing and showcasing your strengths is not about arrogance, it's about authenticity. When you own your abilities, you not only set yourself apart, but also inspire others to do the same. Here's how you can start leveraging your strengths. Identify your unique traits. Take time to reflect on what you're good at. Are you a great communicator, a natural problem solver, a creative thinker? Write these down and think about how you can apply them in different areas of your life. Step out of the shadows. Stop waiting for permission to showcase your talents. If you have a skill or perspective that can add value, share it confidently. Whether it's in the workplace, a social group, or a relationship, let your strengths shine. Invest in personal growth. Your strengths aren't static, they can be developed. If you're good at something, strive to become great at it. This continuous growth not only boosts your confidence, but also increases your value in the eyes of others. Women are drawn to men who know what makes them unique and aren't afraid to let it show. It's not about being boastful, it's about demonstrating self-awareness and confidence. When you own your strengths, you project a sense of purpose and capability that's impossible to ignore. Remember this: the world doesn't reward hidden potential, it rewards those who bring their strengths to the forefront. As a high-value man, it's your responsibility to recognize your worth. Embrace it and leverage it to create opportunities and build meaningful connections. So, stop downplaying your abilities, step into the spotlight, and show the world and yourself what you're truly capable of. Being a high-value man isn't about abandoning kindness or becoming someone you're not. It's about refining your approach to life, relationships, and personal growth. The habits we've discussed, being a people pleaser, always agreeing, failing to set boundaries, and so on, are not just holding you back, they're preventing others from seeing your true value. The good news? You have the power to change. By recognizing and breaking free from these habits, you're not just improving how others perceive you, you're building a stronger, more confident version of yourself. A man who respects his own time, opinions, and strengths commands respect from others naturally. So here's your challenge. Start small. Identify one habit that resonates with you the most and make a conscious effort to change it. Over time, these small shifts will compound, and you'll notice a significant transformation in how you feel about yourself and how the world responds to you. Remember, being a high-value man isn't about perfection, it's about progress. The key is to stay consistent, stay committed, and never settle for less than you deserve. If this video resonated with you, hit the like button, subscribe to the Stoic Golden Rule, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your journey to becoming the best version of yourself starts now.